Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Yeah, look, of course, I know the crypto market absolutely slaughtered today. I mean, of course, the downfall began last night. That's when crypto prices started cratering on down along with XRP. But believe it or not, despite that, I will note, XRP just had its best week in history. It's been around over 13 years. XRP just had its best week in history in institutional inflows. I kid you not. And frankly, if you've been paying attention, you're probably not terribly surprised. But indeed, here is the headline from the Crypto Basic. XRP posts largest weekly inflows ever as crypto funds rally on Fed rate cut hopes. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say are right. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so let's dive in here. I want to show you this data, and also I want to show you even more evidence. XRP is just being ridiculously adopted. And one thing, and I haven't brought this up in a little while, it's probably been like at least a month since I mentioned this, but given the current environment, it's worth bringing up again. The fact that XRP is an obvious early winner of the crypto space, that has resulted in it getting thrown into multi-coin ETFs. It's resulted in it getting adopted in ETF form by multiple firms, including from traditional finance as well as firms like Grayscale that are more crypto native. It just is. So the fact that XRP has already had the level of success that it's had makes it automatically have even more success because it's a real organic thing. You get to a certain level, then you get even more success for free. And that's absolutely what's happening here. And I got a couple examples of that I'm going to highlight in this video too. But anyway, so on this first topic, this piece reads as follows from the Crypto Basic. Crypto investment products saw a major comeback last week with $1.07 billion flowing in, led by XRP following a month of heavy withdrawals. Investors are growing more confident that the U.S. may soon cut interest rates after remarks from FOMC member John Williams regarding the current restrictive monetary policy. And by the way, I'll pause to note, I checked this before recording this video, and I just hopped on Polymarket, which I've never actually used, but I'm curious about the data that's on there. And so it's certainly not an endorsement of them. They're not a sponsor. I don't have any sponsors. I choose not to. But anyway, I hopped on there, and right now, Polymarket has 89% odds that there will be a rate cut this month. That'll be the third rate cut this year, 25 basis points. And so that's just 0.25%. And that is what the market wants, just to be clear. So we do have that to look forward to. I know the market's down today. People feeling depressed. There's people panicking. There's people scared. This is all going to blow over. I am not remotely scared. The chart is up and to the right. If you're in crypto land, folks, stop being afraid. Don't be little baby back bitches. So yes, best yet ahead here. And then they write, this inflow reverses the trend of the past 4 weeks, which saw $5.7 billion leave digital asset ETPs. Even during the quieter Thanksgiving week, when trading volumes dropped from $56 billion to $24 billion, inflows returned across major markets. And so I'll note, obviously, the massive outflows were from Bitcoin. And of course, that was led as a result of the sell-offs that have been regularly occurring after the October 10th liquidation event. There's a major market maker, which was not killed, but heavily wounded, let's say. And it is indeed the case that they ended up being stuck with assets that they didn't want to be stuck with after they purchased them because they weren't able to hedge against them because the market was falling apart. And so then they just were, in real time, they were holding these assets as the market's just plummeting. And so when that happens, because stuff like this happens in traditional finance also, you have a contractual agreement with your lender. And so this market maker did too. And they're required to sell a certain amount as time passes, and you can actually see that. You can literally see the flows. There's no shortage of evidence on this, but those things usually only last about 8 weeks, so once it's done, it's done. So we're at the tail end of this thing. That pressure is going to be gone too. Eventually all these things that have been headwinds are just going to go away, and if anything, you're just going to have a bunch of tailwinds because the rest of the environment, including from a macro perspective, looking pretty damn primed so far as I'm concerned here. Anyway, piece continues. Interestingly, XRP led the market with its largest weekly inflow on record, attracting $289 million. Now, folks, you just love to see it, despite all of those little pricks out there in Bitcoin land, the toxic Bitcoin maximalists, saying XRP, of course, it's a crap coin. It's going to fall to the top 10 coins by market cap. It's going to go to zero. It's a security. All that they've been proven wrong again and again and again and again. Well, this makes what I'm about to show you that much more beautiful, because two data sets here. The first one that's on your screen right now, I actually shared in a video within the last maybe 2 or 3 days. It's worth mentioning, though. I'm going to show you the updated version of this, but this one showed, this is a weekly update showing institutional inflows in the just in the crypto asset class, and they highlight specific coins, Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, so on and so forth. And so it's not just ETFs, it's just all institutional inflows that they're tracking here. And so this was for the week ended November 21st, and it was beautiful to see because here you can see XRP up for the week, institutional inflows of $89.3 million. $89.3 million. Bitcoin down. Bitcoin with outflows of $1.26 billion. Ethereum down with $589 million in outflows. And it is funny that it's the number 589. I got some lulls out of that. I got a hearty chuckle or two. I hope you did as well. And here you go, though. XRP again. It's up. You'll love to see it if you're an XRP holder. So that was the most recent data until just the other day. And then we got this. And this is a thing of beauty also. Look at that right there. XRP. This is the largest institutional inflow in history. Prices, so fine, we're down today and last night. Prices have been stagnant mostly for crypto, including XRP recently. Still, genuine interest from the smart money. $289.2 million in inflows for the week. The week ending November 28th, which is Black Friday, so the end of November. That is badass. And so you do have positive inflows finally for Bitcoin and Ethereum also, totaling, like they said in the article, 1.07 billion. XRP is a massive portion of that. And then think about this. This is with only a handful of XRP ETFs being live, and most of them towards the end of the month. And you understand, XRP has a way smaller market cap than Ethereum or Bitcoin, which to me just that's not like a huge negative. To me, that just represents opportunity. Still, that being the case, XRP having a way smaller market cap than both of them, it is a substantial portion of these inflows, almost 30%. That, I'm telling you folks, if you think XRP makes sense, just know that you're not the only one. You are definitely not the only one. There is very real organic interest, and not just from, whimsical idiots. There are a lot of people that are very intelligent, very successful, very financially savvy who think, yeah, actually that XRP thing kind of makes sense. And it's not hard to figure out why. The fundamentals of XRP have never been stronger. The technical attributes of XRP are genuinely desirable. It does what Bitcoin can't. It does what Bitcoin was touted as being capable of doing back in 2009. Bitcoin can't do it because it's too slow, it's too clunky, it's too costly to move around on layer 1. XRP actually can do that. And since XRP was one of the first movers, it turns out people actually do value that. And so here we are. So to me, none of this is a surprise whatsoever. XRP is one of the most useful cryptocurrencies ever freaking created. So yeah, you'll love to see this. You love to see this level of speculation, of course. I'm just telling you, I ain't the least bit surprised. 289 million. We haven't even been close to that before. The highest number I can recall ever sharing on this channel, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was 100 and something million, and it's probably April. Was it April? March? Oh gosh, probably not April. I'd have to go back and look. Maybe it was March, but there was a time, or maybe it was actually, because I'm thinking here, there was a time after the market was falling apart in April. I think the bottom was April 7th. But there was a period of time after that where there were outflows for Bitcoin and probably ETH, and market wasn't looking so hot. But I do remember there was a period of time, and I just gleefully shared it on my channel. I was like, yeah, but XRP's got positive inflows. And at least one or two of those times, it was over $100 million for an individual week. So you love to see that. Do you remember this, though? Look at this headline from January 11th, 2024, right as the Bitcoin ETFs were going live for the first time ever in the United States. Here is the headline, January 11th, 2024 from CoinDesk. Investment giant Vanguard blocks clients from buying Bitcoin ETFs. Do you guys remember this? You seen this? You heard about this? Vanguard, one of the largest asset managers in the world, will not be allowing customers to buy the newly approved Bitcoin ETFs. An attempt to invest in BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, IBIT is the ticker, or Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, via a Vanguard retirement brokerage account generated a trade cannot be completed warning. And there it is on the screen right there. And then take a look at this. A Vanguard spokesperson told CoinDesk that spot Bitcoin ETFs will not be available for purchase on the Vanguard platform, and that it has no plans to offer Vanguard Bitcoin ETFs or other crypto-related products. The spokesperson said the reason behind this decision is that crypto-related products don't align with the asset manager's focus on asset classes that build blocks of a well-balanced long-term investment portfolio, end quote. Now, never mind, of course, at that point, crypto had already been around for more than a hot minute, 15 years live. But it's long-term. It's got to be long-term, of course, right? And well-balanced, my God. And it's going to build your net worth, right? Of course, ever since then, crypto, although we've had more recently a pullback, it absolutely rocketed. Even if you compare whatever the market cap would have been for the asset class in January 2024 to where it is now, we're way higher. And I don't remember exactly what it was. I'd have to pull it up, but I do remember even in November of 2024, we were at 2.2 trillion. And so we're almost at 2.9 trillion despite the pullback today. So that's not so good for your clients, is it, Vanguard? And so I said at the time, of course, this is obviously from some idiot stick out there, some old school curmudgeon who is wrong about crypto, thinks it's not safe, it's not this or that, whatever the rationale is. And their decision to not offer crypto products will not last forever. They will have to cave because crypto is here to stay. People like it. It is useful. It makes business models possible that otherwise wouldn't be possible. It's such obvious technological advance here. And so we knew that, I knew that this would not stand, and it has flipped. Here's the headline today, and it's good for XRP. Here it is from December 1st, 2025. Vanguard to allow Bitcoin, Ethereum, and, drumroll please, XRP ETF trading in major crypto pivot. That's right. One of the largest asset managers on the entire frickin' planet, Vanguard, allowing XRP and Bitcoin and ETH on the platform. You guys knew this was coming, right? Take a look at this. Vanguard is opening its brokerage platform to crypto-focused ETFs and mutual funds, abandoning a stance that had kept digital asset products off its shelves for years. Well, less than 2, so not plural years, but right, crypto media. Anyway, beginning Tuesday, the firm will permit trading in funds that hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana, putting crypto exposure on the same footing as other non-core assets it already accommodates, such as gold, Bloomberg reported. The change gives more than 50 million brokerage customers access to regulated crypto wrappers across the U.S. fund industry. Now, folks, think about that. That is massive. Because there are people who are not in crypto land right now. God bless their souls. And so they have no exposure to crypto. And maybe they've thought about crypto. Maybe they're crypto curious, let's say. Maybe they've heard about this Bitcoin thing. You know, they're aware of the Coinbase. You know, they're like, oh, the Coinbase, what's that? I've heard of this. But they won't go over there and sign up because they are little baby back bitches. We know this. But they won't hop on Coinbase. And, maybe it's intimidating. Like, well, what about this? What's it mean? Is it safe? And what about self-custody? There could be any number of questions. But then, they're on their brokerage platform. They're on Vanguard. They got an account here. They got an account. They can purchase ETFs that give them exposure to the crypto asset class. And so there's all sorts of people who are not like you and I. They're not crypto native. They're not willing to engage in self-custody, so on and so forth. But they are, since the option is now available to them and they don't have to create a new account or anything, they're interested in actually making a purchase for ETFs like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and yes, XRP, absolutely. And now they're going to be able to do that. And that's to the tune of 50 million clients right there, buddy. And that's why at the outset of the video, I was saying, guys, this is one of the big benefits of being one of the first movers. XRP is one of the first cryptocurrencies ever created. The fact that it's the case and it does have this staying power just means that on top of the success it's got, which is well deserved, now it gets more success for free. It gets even more exposure just because it's already lasted this long and because people desire it. And it is this is the nature of organic growth. That's absolutely what this is. You freaking love to see this. The pivot follows months of internal review and comes as client interest in digital assets has persisted through a sharp market pullback. I'm telling you, folks, if you're here listening in 2025, congratulations. I'll give you another sincere congratulations. I offer these frequently on my channel because you have beat the masses. Far less than 1% of humans on the planet have ever owned XRP at any point in history. And we already saw an all-time high of $3.65 this year in July, despite the fact that almost no humans have ever even heard of it. What do you think happens as more and more people and businesses and institutions jump into the crypto space and ultimately adopt XRP and speculate on it? I think number go up, my friends. I'm thinking that number go up. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.